Welcome to the Zen Forum, where we inspire and empower you to achieve holistic success. In collaboration with Indonesia Economic Forum and the Zen Monk, we are redefining success beyond money, focusing on true well-being, purpose, and balance. Through powerful conversations, we are igniting growth and sparking change in both your personal and professional life, one episode at a time. Today, I am so honored to be joined by someone whose journey in the business world spanned over decades. But his true purpose started when he stepped away from it. Today, I'm joined by Jodi Dharmawan, who was a former president director of Lee Cooper Indonesia before he made a powerful shift to the world of life and business coaching. He's here to share with us how running a business can be moved from just facts and data to actual intuition, feelings, and purpose.
Wow.
Thank you so much, Jodi, for being here, especially that you are, I know, settled in Singapore. So for you to actually make your time to come here and speak with us, your presence means a lot. Thank you.
Thank you for having me.
I'm so happy to that. It was such a pleasure. So let's start at the beginning. So I know that you have actually been around the world a little bit, like Hong Kong, UK. I know that you're settled in Singapore this time, but way before you got started with your business, you decided to come back home. You decided to come back here. So I wanted to know what inspired you to come back home? What pushed you to, instead of like going somewhere else around the world, you came down here back to settle. So what was the intention behind that?
There really wasn't an intention of coming home at all.
Okay.
Right, so I was sent off when I was 3 years old. And those are the days where there was this political turmoil. People believe that as a minority Chinese, we don't really stand a chance in here. And that's the reason why my parents decided to send me overseas. And that's how I settled in Hong Kong for a good 15 years. And from there, and I moved to the UK to further my education. And my intention was really to stay in the UK and just get myself a good job. My father's business partner, he bought me a ticket and said, hey, why don't you come back to Indonesia, to this part of the world, and have a look and see what's going on. It was meant to be a holiday.
Interesting.
I never left.
Wow.
I fell in love with the country. I felt that dynamic, what's going on. But more importantly, after 20 years of being away from Indonesia, that was the first time I felt home.
Wow.
Yeah.
That was the first time you actually experienced your birth country.
That is true. Although throughout the 20 over years, I still come back to Indonesia, mainly for holidays, seeing relatives. But it was never a feeling of home. It was just feeling like a chore. Mum and asked me to do that so I came back here. But that time I came home, I really felt home.
Wow. And so you decided to settle down and work with your father at that time.
Yes. And my father did not expect me to do that at all.
Okay.
There was no expectation of him of coming back to join the family business.
Nice.
Or he so-called that his business. And so I asked him, can I work for you?
Wow.
And he said, yeah, sure.
And then no looking back since then.
No, it was then literally living in Indonesia, but it was interesting. It was the beginning of my journey in a way to reconnect with my father in particular.
Nice.
He has always been a figure whom I see as, in a way, my hero, my God, my provider, but yet I don't really have a relationship with him. There was not this connection. There was someone I looked up to.
Right.
And that was the time I said, maybe it's a good time.
And how was the relationship dynamic there? Usually people find it, there's so many people, there's so many levels on how like a son or a child works in the family business. Either one is being asked, being forced even, or they want to. But in all of these choices, there's still this issue when it comes to relationship dynamics, where personal life gets in the way of like how to run a business, different mindset, different values. How did you navigate that? How was that for you?
Looking back, how did I navigate that? I have really no idea how I did. I was just simply enjoying that process, right? Reconnecting with my dad, spending time with him was a joy. But also it comes with now real conflicts.
Right.
So in the past, he was a father who was trying to raise a son, telling me what to do, and I was just trying to be a good son, following whatever he asked me to do, just to tick the score. But now living together and actually running a business together, it's somewhat different. I also then come to realize he's after all a human being.
Oh, that's beautiful.
And I didn't quite know and understand that part because me idolizing him as the hero, the god, he was perfect. And when I see flaw, that was this bit of a disappointment in me. And it took me a while to learn that he's after all a human being.
Wow.
And just doing his best.
It's like they don't know any better as well. They're trying their best,
Well, there was one saying that he always say that you don't know until you become a father. And I never understood it until I became a father.
That's a beautiful line. And then ultimately, you decided to exit the business world in 2019 around about?
Yes. Well, the thought of it was in about 2017.
Okay.
It took me a while to actually finally execute it.
So tell me the thought process behind actually exiting the business world, because I know that you have been, I think you mentioned almost 30 years in this garment business and then manufacturing, and then after that, Lee Cooper, Indonesia, and then you went through a lot of ups and downs in that business world itself. So was that part of the decision to exit the business world, or was there anything else that was going on in your mind?
I wish I could sound very intelligent with that. The thought process to go through that.
I love the authenticity of it. But it's more of like, I just don't want to be here anymore. Or what is it?
That's exactly how I felt. Surprisingly, I mean, it was like going. So initially, when I started the business, there was this whole passionate, and I feel every single day, be it having sleepless night over terribly worried about what are things that's not happening or things that I have not been able to solve or overly excited about an idea. But every single day, there was this whole emotions until after a while, it just becomes like, it's a chore. I no longer look forward to going to work.
Wow.
And then I start questioning myself. Why? I asked myself, how do I feel about it? And the answer of it was actually nothing, none. Every day seems to be just the same old. And this little thought of mine comes in. I don't know whether it's the right place to say that. Then I asked myself, am I just doing this for the sake of generating some income to sustain the lifestyle that I'm living? And if the answer is yes, am I now prostituting my own time?
Oh, wow. Powerful.
And that thought scares me. And that comes out from my own reflection. And so I thought, do I want to do something about it? And yet at my age at that time, I was in my late 40s.
Okay.
Is it wise for me to rock the boat and make changes?
Yeah.
And yet I also don't want to feel like this for the remaining of my life. Right?
Yeah, it's like
so
that
was this
limbo. Yeah.
Yeah. And then I sat there and I contemplated upon it. And it was after some years, my current wife, she was my girlfriend then, and she had this profound saying that, get out of it while you still can, before it's too late. Then that thought process comes in and okay.
Wow. That takes courage, of course, because I'm sure a lot of people are in that limbo in so many ways as well. where they feel like they are living life because they have to. It's what's expected. It's the safest route. It is what is currently that is paying their bills. So the idea of, like you said, rocking the boat or shifting industries and all that sounds very scary. So how did you build up that courage? And how did you actually end up finding your true purpose?
Now, the looking for the purpose part of it was in my earlier days. I think I was in my 30s, and this word came to me about what is your purpose in life. And it was through the Entrepreneurs Organization, one of their leadership kind of a conference that we got to ask this question. I don't even understand what does the word purpose mean, right? So they said, it's the why, it's not the what and how. Why are you doing what you're doing? And so I kind of like questioned myself, examining that. In my 30s, my true purpose really was to spend time with Dad, reconnect with him, and more importantly, I probably want to earn that I'm his proud son, that validation I want to get out from him. And I was always wanting Dad to come and say, yeah, I'm really proud of you. And never get that.
Oh, damn. Gotta validate yourself still.
Until one day we had this conversation. We had some conflict, and we had a major fight out of it. And then the whole thing comes out. And then he's come to me, what? You try to impress me? I said, I just want you to be better than me, of which you definitely already are. You are a university graduate. I never graduated from universities. And here you are. You are doing whatever you are doing. I just want you to be happy. I just want you to be better than me. And that was it. And suddenly, yay, mission accomplished.
Right.
Now, what am I going to do?
Right.
The sense of like, now what do I do about it?
Right.
And that's the part of when I was looking into, all right, so what is now my purpose in life?
Right. Because it's like you've actually achieved your purpose technically at that point.
Exactly. And so I think the wise word from the facilitator is about looking for something that is beyond you, it's bigger than you. And so why are you doing it for something that is bigger than that? And so I was just go and search for it. What is it? And I do find this whole creating, in that day I used the word an impact, making a contribution towards the mankind in whatever way I can.
Yeah.
It's good. So I said, that sounds good. It also feels good. So I said, yeah, that would be mine.
And is that how life and business coaching came about? Or that still took time?
No, at that time I was actually using my company business as a platform to help for those who are working in there, to empower them so that they can build a better life.
Nice.
That's what I was trying to do.
So you've already kind of gotten a little bit into that whole coaching zone beforehand, and then actually labeled it after you stepped out and made it a whole full-time, your bread. Why did I blocked out the bread? Your bread and butter. Yeah, your bread and butter. Yeah. Did that happen after?
Actually, no. I was just doing that without me knowing it on the side for a very long time. And so I joined this organization called the Entrepreneurs Organization. Organizations of which in there's a product called the Forum, which is a peer-to-peer learning tool. And part of that tool, there's this coaching part involved in there. And I was very drawn to this specific tool because it allows us to just simply surrender us as we're all equal. No one is smarter than the others.
Yeah.
And then from there, but yet we're all different. We all build on the differences.
Yeah.
And so to discover something more about ourselves. And a part of it is a tool called the coaching. Little did I know, while I was practicing that, a lot of people noticed that I was actually very good at it. I didn't notice that. And so they were asking me, hey, I've got some issues. Can you just walk me through this? And so I will use what I've learned, apply that, and just to listen to them and just doing this for fun. I truly enjoyed it.
Yeah.
And that's how it went on for 20 over years, until I decided to exit my business. And then after I exited my business, then I said, what am I going to do now?
And then how did that unfold?
So after I exited my business, then I'm free.
Right.
And then I can say, okay, now what am I going to do?
Right.
So I think that's where the part my calling comes in.
Yeah.
Because I didn't have any formal certificates to say, hey, this is a coach and all that. I just have a skill set that only my close surrounded friends recognize as asked me to do. And so, okay, so can I now make a living out of this? I have half a dozen of children. I still need some income. I wouldn't mind some money.
Yeah. Okay.
So now changing that into my bread and butter was post-exit.
So there is this notion that people assume purpose equals career. And that's one of the reasons why most people don't even go out there seeking purpose or even leading a purposeful life. And they're just like, I can't afford to lead a purposeful life. I can't step out of what I'm doing. This is what I have to do. And just, survive, put money in the bank, just pay my bills. This is the opportunity that I have right now, and I can't afford to step out or do anything else. And so are we able to redefine what purpose actually means?
To me, all you mentioned in that, whatever we do in the career, whatever not, that probably is just simply a mean to serve the purpose.
Okay.
I think just at the beginning, what you did when we sat down, you lit a candle, and you said, "Let's start this with the intention." That is something small, beautiful, but it means something. And then whatever that we do, can we create that ripple, that impact to help to contribute something bigger than just simply me? I think that is where it starts. And it's not about serving my ego, but it's really playing a role, giving some contribution in being a part of this. You can call it a universe, you can call it this community, whatever it is. So it's not just about me.
I like that. That's a really important shift. Yeah. It's more of the meaning, the why behind everything that you're doing, and being able to serve others with that why.
I believe so. Just that beautiful thing. You sat down, it's a podcast, and you set that intention. And that's also one of our company's rituals.
Oh, interesting. Tell me more.
So we have this morning huddle every single day, starting from the top all the way to cascading all the way down. And that's what we do. We stand in circle and just go to 20 minutes. It's that 20 minutes huddle. So we get around, and in a little circle, we start with the communication starters, just to get ourselves connected. And then everyone needs to start sharing what is their intention for the day. Not what you're going to do, but whatever that you're going to do is to serve what is the objective that you want to achieve. It also helps us to get ourselves aligned, to see if we are all heading towards the right direction.
That's amazing.
Before we start our day.
Wow, that's really powerful. And so this is something that you used to apply even during like Lee Cooper Indonesia days.
Oh yeah, that's what
That's amazing.
Yeah.
So tell me more about how do you actually, like, right now I know you're doing life and business coaching, and that's a whole other structure in terms of business and entrepreneurship. But if you do business coaching, like how do you actually share to people on like how should they run a business from now on? Like, this is different. Intention setting is something that not many people do. So if you could share a few ways that could help people run business better, where they don't feel like they're burnt out, where they don't feel like they're just living their days through the motion, what would that be?
Well, one thing I learned from the Entrepreneurs Organization is never tell people what to do. It's actually, the reason why I enjoyed coaching is I am just basically your mirror. you get to see yourself through me. As you speak to me, all I have to do is just capture what you say and give it back to you. You get to discover your own. No one runs or knows how to run their business better than they themselves do if they ever believe in themselves.
If they have a belief in themselves.
Yes, I think it starts from there. They seriously need to believe. It's very different from being so egoistic, narcissist about it. But do I believe that I can? And do I have the will to push through? And do I have that right mindset of willing to learn what you do not know? And maybe the courage to discover what you didn't know you didn't know.
Interesting.
And so you slowly evolve.
So the way that you've been running business, it's been so inspiring. It's very new age for some people. It's very like mainly for men who's been in the business world much longer. The idea of listening to their intuition, listening to their feeling feels very foreign, especially feelings over facts. Like it's just like what, logic, data, all of that stuff. So how would you be able to share what does it mean to listen to your feelings or intuition when it comes to running business?
Yes, so when I was a child, I was very much inspired to be this guy, to this spark, to be the most rational, logical person that is not being affected by emotions. And logic, rationale, it all comes from knowledge or information that I know. And there's only limited information that I do know. I'm not a very smart person, but that's how we determine a smart person is.
By the amount of knowledge
they know. I think I just come to the understanding I'm not one of those. But I can become wiser by knowing what I don't. And so I can now go and search for it. And so in the old days when I need to search for information, I just simply go and to the library to do research to find out more information so that it equipped me to make better decisions. But in the real world right now, there are obviously far more information that I do not know, so I will not know how to look for that in the first place. And that's how it puts me to the different zone of people. Most people analyze and make information from what they know. I can tap into the part of what I didn't know. I use that intuition to help me. So I kind of like transform myself from being Spark to Star Trek to Star Wars, the Jedi, trust that force. But if that force comes in, right, it speaks to me through my emotions. Do I 100% follow my intuition, my emotion, and lead by my feelings? Absolutely not.
Okay.
But I also know one thing is my feeling will tell me something there for me to look at. And then I can use my thinking to help me to see what is it that I'm looking at. So I'm using both instead of just one side. I think that helps me a lot, particularly in the part where sometimes there is this voice who tells me something. Can't really put a finger into that. And quite often if I ignore that, something eventually happens.
And that's what we call gut feelings. Basically, in a more intuition is very spiritual. They find it very woo-woo.
Yeah.
Gut feelings are more acceptable to say. Do you feel that way? Do you feel people get turned off with the idea of intuition? It's so woo-woo. It's so.
I do hear a lot of people saying that. I believe if I 100% follow that, it may be. Because my feelings, I don't think it will ever lies to me, but it doesn't necessarily tell me the truth.
Right.
But it tells me there is something there for me to look at. Like for example, if I'm facing a certain situation that I have this sense of fear, and it's telling me there's something for me to look at. I can't really wait. Don't be scared, just boldly go for that. I think that'd be tough. So, people say that entrepreneurs are those who are willing to take risks to expect rewards. Now, working and being with the entrepreneurs organizations and members, so now there are 20,000 worldwide, different parts of the world, different cultures, different genders. And one thing in common, I don't think we are stupid enough to take risk, but we see risk with a different way. When most people see it as a risk, as a danger, we somehow see opportunity. And that excites us. And that thing that we feel always tells us there is something there for us to look at, and then we just need to go and honor that and spend some time to look into that before we make a decision. That's how I feel it.
That's interesting. There's this gray area, right, between, like what you said, not listening to every feeling, because it could lie to us, and like a fear could be something that can stop us from actually taking the steps that we need to take. Anger would make us act in ways that we regret. So it's like there's these feelings that come up, and like men are taught to completely suppress it. Women, on the other hand, are not taught what to do with it. So it's like this, okay, how do we find this middle ground between actually acknowledging our feelings, but knowing when and what to listen to? How do we actually decide ultimately? Mainly, I think it's much easier to think about fear as the most common feeling. Let's just say we have fear right in front of us right now, and we're supposed to do something incredible. Let's just say we're supposed to start this business. Fear is right there. Most people would subject to logic and the science. So the market is not gonna, support me here, or there's too many competitors. So many excuses will come into your head. So you're trying to think it in a more logical sense because you're afraid. But at one end, you're meant to take that opportunity and take that risk. How do you actually push through, listen to the fear at the same time, like push through that fear, that dance?
So I think the emotions, whatever they are in what sort of form, it just say whatever that you're facing has some meaning to it.
Just a story.
It's just a story. So it just tells you look at it. So when you feel a sense of fear, and it's okay for you to feel that fear, but to react on it is very different. So I think I used the word called respond, and the difference between reacting and responding to it is, in between, there is a moment of processing that versus just simply acting out. I think one would normally say, oh, please just don't listen to your emotions, and you get emotional. It's one does not go through that. So when I'm angry, I just simply act on my anger. There's nothing wrong in being angry if there is something that really upsets me. Acknowledging it, I think, is a part of honoring the self. But do I have to act on it, on the situation? I may not have to. I can process it and channel it into somewhere that is more productive, that is going to help me versus going to harm me. I think that processing time is something that we have how to learn.
So, for example, you're faced in front of something, there's a decision that you need to make or whatever, and then you feel all of these feelings. And so when you're processing and understanding the meaning behind that feeling and then deciding what you want to do with it, that's definitely key. But how do we get people to start actually doing that? Especially men. And women are the, like I said, the complete opposite, where they feel all their feelings and not know what to do with it completely, where they really, really just trust that feeling and just react. Men, on the other hand, do not even acknowledge it at all. Or they put it in completely and they're like, I'm fine. So how will that impact them in their decision making and business? And how can they come out of it?
I can't speak for all men. I can speak for me. I am a man, right? So I think it was really. I think it really was my ego trying to suppress that feeling, particularly the fear, the negative part of it, to say that I'm strong enough to overcome it, and I need to go and convince myself and convince others that I am this strong and powerful man, just to secure make myself feel secure in that sense. Does it really help? Sometimes. But by neglecting that, suppressing it, I find that emotion and it will eventually come back at me because there's a part of it that I have completely ignored. So when there's a fear, if I look into that, there could be something that is of danger that I personally may be ignoring or didn't see. So if I can channel that energy to go and let's look at it first and just take one step at a time. So once I acknowledge what are the danger, and if I can find a way to go and address to those dangers, it helps me to build a better plan.
It's like being more proactive. Where do you draw the line? Because most people often end up hearing fear and there's always another fear. There's always another fear. There's another worst case. There's another what if. How do we draw the line and push through?
I think at every step of the line, every step of the way, I will always question myself, now how do you feel about it? But I also see the bigger picture. What is that I'm trying to achieve over there? It starts from that bigger why.
That's where the purpose comes in again.
Yes, exactly.
That's how you end up pushing your fear when your why is strong enough.
Correct. People will die for the why. We have seen it in histories. So to me, that is the strongest beacon. And there's no right why, wrong why, good why, bad why. It's just that is just my why.
Wow, that's a thought. How powerful is your desire towards whatever you're planning to do? And even when you mentioned, like, even if your purpose is greed, even if your purpose is to make a lot of money, acknowledgement, whatever it is, if that's so strong, you do anything to get that.
And I think that's the part where I come to realize there's a difference between a purpose and a calling.
Please tell me.
So calling, if you ever believe there is a God, I think that's how he speaks to you, right? Or the universe that speaks to you. It's a voice in your head and you can't really explain it, but it's drawing you towards that direction. And that's how I decided to say, I think this is my calling towards the end.
Yeah.
And I just want to go and serve that.
How can someone be able to experience that in a way that, again, because calling is something that I understand where you're coming from. That was what I felt when I started the Zen monk and I started life coaching. It felt so natural. It felt so like, oh wait, I can do this, and things just kept clicking and it made sense, and it felt like I was good at it without having to learn about it. And that was something I was like, okay, this is interesting. And so when you said that, I was like, okay, I can feel what you're saying. But then again, there are people who are maybe not fortunate enough to find that, or are not willing to find it. Like, how can we all start looking for that? And is it even necessary? Because again, there's always this case where you're stuck in where you are and you gotta do what you gotta do, and then to even consider the idea of living your calling is something that just wouldn't cross everyone's minds.
That's a good question. So I was just wondering, was I really looking for it? Or I just come to recognize it?
Nice.
It doesn't sound logical, right? But there's a voice talking to you. Where does this come from? It's just now, okay, there is this voice. Now I'm just simply recognizing it. And I am not processing it in a logical way, but by really listening to it and what it says. Surrendering maybe the outcome of it, but just simply follow that and let that voice guide me. I just realize I am just this little small part in this universe. I play a role, but the universe will guide me.
That takes, again, a lot of courage, because you're really surrendering so much in terms of, like, you're just trusting the path will unfold. Because when you said that I have to detach from the outcome, now that's a very difficult thing for a lot of people to do. Because mainly the reason, the purpose is actually that outcome. A lot of people believe that their why is that particular tangible outcome. And so for us to detach from that idea and just go with that flow and listen to something else and trust that something else, sometimes beyond logic, is quite it's scary for a lot of people, or it's very confusing for a lot of people.
Still is to me.
Yeah.
Still is to me. I think it takes a lot. To me, it's more of humility than courage itself.
Okay.
I don't know a lot of things. And I have come to realize, well, not realize, accepted that I do not know it all. And there is something bigger than me that is helping me to guide me through.
That's incredible. How can we put that into what we're doing today? Let's just say right now we're fortunate enough to find our calling, and it may be something that, feels a little bit more effortless, and even when during the moments where it becomes challenging, it feels a lot easier to pick yourself back up. But let's just say people are not in that situation where they're living their true purpose or calling at this point, but they want to be able to at least wake up feeling purposeful, wake up feeling more trusting, wake up feeling a lot more detached from the outcome, instead of that burnout, instead of that wanting that achievement, that status. How can we be a little bit more, chill and just, show up in our lives with a little bit more stress, a little bit more, less stress, sorry. What do I say? A little less stress, a little less rushing. Because you say that, I don't know a lot of things, and you're able to surrender and trust that, and then it unfolds. But how do we do that with our current businesses, with our current careers?
Well, I think this concept of be, it's something that I come to learn about. Again, I really need to thank my wife.
Mm-hmm.
So while we kind of like dating a bit, and she, it wasn't really dating. So we were both gone through a failed marriage, and we were at a stage where we said, I think we probably need to be alone for a little while. And yet we have a connection throughout. So I was still very much in that mindset of, this is what I said I am going to do, that I believe is going to help me to be better. And she is in that mindset of like, you know what, let's just go with the flow. And that she was just looking at my eyes and said, Jodi, just stop thinking for a little while and just be and see what you feel about this whole thing. And that be lead to where I am now. So my head was telling me no. My heart was saying that there is something magical happening here. Am I going to seize that moment to take that part? So it's the ability to just be versus trying to control. I think the only thing that I can control myself to just be.
Why do you think it's so difficult for people to just be and listen to their feelings?
I don't know. I think in my past, there's a big chunk of it is when I have control, I feel safe. I think that comes from there. And also that egoistic part is, if I can create a future that I can see myself as whatever that is, then it makes me feel good. And chasing after those controls without realizing what is really the thing that I have control of and what are things that I have no control over. And over the years, particularly serving as a member leaders in EO, I come to realize there are so many things I have zero control over. And the only thing I have, and yet I don't want to, is the self that I have control over in just being there. Responding versus reacting. That I have, instead of I need to control you. I need to control that outcome. I don't think I can.
Wow, that's amazing. I had a thought. For example, for people who feel like they're already achieved enough, they have had success. How can living this way. Help them more. For people who maybe are still achieving, who are still, reaching their goals, they can kind of shift how they want to get there because they're still getting there, if that makes sense. But those who have already reached a certain level but still seem unhappy, still seem stressed out, the idea is like, a lot of people are not even open to this whole internal work, to the idea of like self and intuition and understanding myself. They don't get the connection between this and success, this and fulfillment, this and happiness. Because they're like, okay, used to success being about money, about achievement, about status. Now you've gotten there. Then what? How do we connect the idea that this is necessary? Even the idea of coaching, self-help, it's just coming about now. So everybody is all about this is new age stuff. We don't need all these stuff to become more successful. Someone actually came up to me and asked me, and just like, then why are you doing all you're doing right now, coaching and everything? It's not like we needed it back then. Why do we need it now? That's his definition of success, was all about maybe money and a type of status. But is he successful in the way that he feels about himself, about his marriage, about his connection with his children? There's different levels of successes. Is he actually happy being where he is, even being that rich, having that big home? Does he come home feeling lonely? So there's so many definitions to success these days that we were all not thought about back then. Even for our moms, maybe we were all, they seem to turn out just fine, but they have a lot of emotional turmoil. They're falling ill. So many aunties that I know right now are like literally like getting like losing their minds in the way that they're just anxious all the time, scared all the time. Why? Because these were not addressed. And so that's what I was trying to explain to him, that I'm like, yeah, you can achieve all of these things, get the bag, get the job, get the status and everything. But true fulfillment, true joy doesn't come from there. But they're like, yeah, but it's easy for you to say if you feel like you're already at a certain level where you've achieved money, you've achieved all of these things. If I feel like I still need to survive and get money and everything, I'm not going to think about I need this internal work. So how do we connect the idea that this is necessary for you to even get there and get there fully, not only based on money, but also more like what true like living actually is?
My biggest aha moment, I've mentioned to you earlier on, I have this child who's got special needs. She's high functional autistics and she's got ADHD.
Okay.
So I came to her when she was 8 years old, not my biological child. I adopted her to be one of mine, and for the last 12 years, right? I think she's my biggest teacher. I see so much potential in her. I've also learned enough to know what she can do and what she's capable of doing. And of course, I'm very much driven to what she's capable of doing and hope that she will get towards that direction. And that process itself frustrates me, frustrates her. It got her to nowhere. It got me to nowhere. And I think there is the time and place, if you ever believe there is this universe, there is this God, she has her own pace. If she's not willing to, she's not ready, I think that's the right word, then she is not ready, no matter how much I think that I was right to force her to do a certain way. So going back to those, I've seen many people who comes to me who wants to be coached. The intention of wants to be coached is to what? I need to know what is the intention behind it. To me, success, it's a journey.
Yeah. And what do you define success to be? Because there's so many definitions to that. And like I mentioned, our old way of thinking is always that money, status, achievement. And even when we've reached that level, sometimes we're still not happy. So what is the point of this inner work?
First, it's never a destination. I think it kind of like ends on the day I no longer live. But throughout, I think it's a sense of joy and fulfillment. I think that's about it.
And how do we achieve that?
I think just simply be and surrendering the control of the outcome and just let that universe guide. I'm not saying that, follow with the flow. We have to work on it. But it's telling you what are the areas that you need to work on, and that's where you put in the effort. And throughout the process, you may fall, the resilient, but you see a bigger reason why you want to do that. And you push yourself towards there. And when you get to there, you feel that sense of achievement. You feel that sense of joy. But that achievement is not to just simply satisfy the ego that, yay, I can now go and brag about it. But it's like fulfilled, meaningful. And that meaning is no one else but me, right? I don't have to prove it to you. Yeah, so it's a very me thing in a way, I find. But I do believe that me is now just bigger than just me itself. I'm just a part of this universe.
Yeah.
Does it make sense?
Yeah, definitely. Because traditional success is like what you said. You're saying it's for me, but I don't need people to validate it. But traditional success actually seeks that external validation. I reach that point in my life. That means people know I'm successful. I have that status. That means I reach a level. That's mostly like I am being validated for the idea of success that society has basically created.
I was there. Yeah, I was there.
Especially that you've achieved that type of success too, right? And for you to know the difference is very evident because you know that you've reached the success, and now this is another level of success, and it's more of like you feel differently about your current success compared to back then.
Yes. I think that success of yes, I have achieved something, but yet I feel empty. Apart from I have the right to now go and brag about it, it's one. Right? But now it's every process of the way I feel that sense of fulfillment. It's very different. It's very different. Do I have the money that I used to have? No.
Okay.
Do I sometimes struggle with, I really don't have enough money to get what I want to be? Yeah, I still do. Do I still have the fear like, what is it going to give me that safety net for my pension? Yes, I still do. But yet, every step of the way, I feel there's meaning to it. And I believe it could be stupid, a blind faith, but I believe it's gonna get me towards there.
That's a powerful way of looking at life and approaching it all together, because it kind of like relieves the pressure and the stress of where you are now and having to chase something to feel better, to feel secured, because most of us are just chasing security more than anything. But if you're feeling secured here, with yourself and with what you're doing at least, and knowing that you'd get there and you're supported regardless, that's like the ultimate approach.
Yeah, I think the sense of security is not to be validated, to be given. It's really how I feel about myself. So again, it goes back into that whole intuition. Is it logical? I can talk myself into that, but no. I also come to realize it's like this whole love thing is utterly irrational.
Tell me more.
Have you ever fallen in love, right? I'm sure you have.
Yeah.
Recall back the things that you do.
Okay.
Is it rational? Is it logical? But does it feel good?
Yeah. Yeah, I get you.
Yeah. And children, looking at the numbers is a bad investment. You always get negative return on investment. The amount of money you plow in for the children, I could have had God knows how many properties and cars. For what reason? Do they give it back to you?
No.
You hope they will.
Yeah, sometimes in fact they turn out to be more entitled than they will.
Exactly the point. And yet
Why am I still willing to do that
Right.
and continue in doing that? Is it rational? No, it isn't. But for some reasons, you do it. And you can't really explain it. You can come up with whatever reasons you want, but rationally, it doesn't make any sense.
And the only way you know that you're doing something, even though it seems illogical but good for you, is that intuition part, right? Because there are people who end up doing things that they don't want to do, thinking that they have to do it. The difference is here, it's like, even if it feels irrational, even if it seems wrong or doesn't make sense to other people, it makes sense to you.
Quite right. And I think also this is again I think it was in my 40s. I've come to realize I've actually learned it since I was young. It never dawned on me the importance of it. The ability to be is to cut out all the noises. There's a difference between noises and voice. And I am constantly being exposed to all these noises. My mobile phone nowadays is definitely one of those, right? It would just speak to me and then I just got drawn into that. But yet I can't live without it to a certain extent in this real world. So I do give myself moments where I am cut out. So I pay money to go into these, just to be alone, just to be silent, just to be with myself, and so that I can hear, I can listen.
Why are people so afraid to listen? It's so difficult for people to even just sit quietly and take that minute for themselves.
I was just sharing this concept, being of a Chinese origin. So I quite often use a lot of Chinese philosophy, and the Chinese character of listen is written in a very interesting way, right? So you have the ear, underneath the ear is the word king, and on the right side, on top of it is the word 10. And underneath the word 10, if you tilt it for 90 degrees, is the word eyes. And underneath the word I is the word one, number one. And underneath the word one is the word heart. That's a whole lot of combination of character to actually formulate the word listening. So I can recognize that character. I didn't quite understand why all these things would formulate the word listen. And so the meaning behind it was, if you were to listen to someone, you need to humble yourself as if you're facing the king, right? So you make it all about that. And then the 10 is the 10 out of 10. You give your 100%.
Okay.
And the 1 is your undivided attention. You listen with your ear, you listen with your eyes, and you listen with your heart. There's no brain involved in there. And that heart bit is the part that you feel. And so if you really listen, you feel. Now sometimes that feeling can be yay. Sometimes that feeling can be ouch. Sometimes that feeling can be oh. It hits you.
I like that answer a lot. That totally makes sense. You may not want to listen to what you truly feel about something or situation sometimes.
Because you have probably no control over it. And so it goes back to that whole surrendering part. Yeah, it is telling me something.
And maybe I wouldn't say courage, or you said humility and courage, but then there's this part of you that needs to want to listen to that. Before logic even comes in, before fear sometimes comes in. It's like you deciding to quit or exit. You know, I'm sure like that part of you is saying that I don't want to do this anymore. There's something about me doesn't feel right to do this anymore. And that feeling can scare people, especially if they're in a certain marriage they do not like, or a career they do not like, or something on the other hand. And listening to that and actually taking the courage to take an action.
That is true. Yes, it is. Listening, accepting it is one thing. I think having the courage then to take action, I think that part takes courage. Because when I really want to exit it, it takes a lot of courage to take that first move.
Yeah, for sure. Especially the unknown. And I think again, it connects to you like detaching from the outcome, believing that the intuition, it will guide you even though you don't know what the outcome is like, letting the path unfold. So it's like a nice little connection, I feel, when you really sit down and listen to yourself, and when you take those steps, you actually end up taking those steps with more courage instead of being in the safe space and comfort
Yes.
where you're at right now, feeling like I know I can handle these things. It's a familiar pain. I'll handle this familiar pain, then listening to the pain that's really within me and taking a courageous step without knowing what would unfold.
Yes, I think that's also one thing I learned from my daughter is living with the familiar pain. It's far easier than dealing with the unfamiliar change. It is quite scary, but we also know in comfort there's no growth, and in growth there's no comfort. So challenging myself to step out of that comfort zone, that takes courage. But that courage, I believe, is also from that why.
That's a great connection. Yes.
So without that why would I do it? Right?
Yeah. Why would I want to risk, shake the boat, get out, do whatever, if it's not, the desire is not strong enough compared to where I am today? The desire to change and be there needs to be stronger than the desire of like dealing with this current comfort. That's probably why people hit breaking points and rock bottoms before they end up.
Yeah, I've seen a few of those, which is quite sad.
Yeah. Wow, I've learned a lot. It's like I'm processing so much, and it feels so validating because it feels like, rather than thinking and listening to everything that everyone says and what the world tells you to do or tells you to be, to feel that type of confidence and certainty within yourself, listening to yourself, like you said, believing in yourself, that itself is such a journey to build that type of belief in yourself. And so I like that you're saying that things are just unfolding, things are just happening, and that feels good. That feels like a relief. Yeah.
Only when you get to there.
Only when you get
Yeah,
there.
sometimes
But,
facing there, no, I said, oh my God.
but like you said, everything becomes meaningful.
Yes, that is true. It's just like remembering this whole relationship part, right? When you fall in love, it's that whole mixture of feeling. There's this excitement, but there's also this anxiety. Is she gonna call me back? How does she feel about me? All that.
And you're still pursuing it. You're still,
Yes, and it will turn into something beautiful.
Yeah.
But then again, I still have to continue to make that relationship work.
Yeah. I was just gonna ask like what would keep you going, but then I thought to myself, the why at the end of the day.
At the end of the day, it's the why.
And what is your why?
So my why is basically to contribute towards the betterment of mankind. Now I know my calling is through empowering. And that's the reason why I'm doing what I'm doing now, being a life coach, being a business coach, hoping that I can help to empower these leaders, create this little ripple effects, and let them go and make those impacts.
That's incredible. If you could leave with empowering anybody who is watching this, who's probably stuck where they're at, but they want to just lead a little bit more successful, purposeful life, what can they do to get started? Where can they... It's like even the idea of someone already reaching success and still feeling unfulfilled. Maybe what is one thing that they need to know, listen, do to just get started in this journey of even self-help, of looking at yourself, that connection between this is how you reach there? What would that be?
I think starting from just acknowledging that is important. Instead of giving reasons or coming up with an instant action plan to overcome it, I think just simply be there, acknowledge that, and then start listening to what is the next step that is going to lead you to somewhere that you feel meaningful. Of course, throughout that journey, if you have a coach, helps. And the coach does not give you the answers. It doesn't. Anyone who comes and tells you what to do, it may work for that person. What the coach probably best is just simply be the mirror and let you go and discover. I believe the answers is within you.
Yeah. That's the whole point, is meeting a coach to help you listen to yourself, actually.
Yes.
Instead of listening to someone else. Yeah.
It is true. And nowadays we have the AI. Try that.
Does that help?
I still like that human connection
I would think so, yeah.
because the spontaneous part of it. I like this word intimacy, like the conversation we have
Yeah.
is into me. I get to see me.
This idea of like going back and forth and connecting to one word and connecting to something about maybe your story, that's something that I don't think any AI could replace.
No,
Yeah.
so far not yet.
Not yet. Oh, sunlight. Oh, that so far not yet gives me a bit of the jitters, because it's in a weird way true and not true. Like, you never know the way that it's processing. Because it's true though, there's this one, people are now doing ChatGPT and asking them about their mental health and what to do and everything. And it's interesting because at one end, that means they are acknowledging that they need that help. But instead of going to a professional person, they're still doing it behind the screen because it's a lot more comfortable than admitting to someone else, even though they're professionals, that there's something going on that they need help with. So that's what's like bugging me, right? Because I'm like, okay guys, like we're in this generation now that you know this help is necessary. Especially when they're like, oh, back then we don't have the internet, we don't have the phone, we don't have things that gives us the kind of stresses that we have right now. And so you do need that support. So you're acknowledging that support, but you're still going to technology, which means you're disconnecting from the people in the very first place that you need that support and love from. So I feel like even if AI gives you the answer, you would still feel lonely. You'd still feel disconnected. You'd still probably not feel like they get me.
No.
Which is something that you need from another human being.
I think one thing AI can't do, AI can't tell how I feel.
Absolutely.
So as I speak, no, I don't think they do. I
Yeah?
don't think they will ever do. I think this human connection, it's where the future, where AI can't tap into. And we can use the AI to help us to rationalize things, to help us to maybe see things that probably I haven't thought about.
Absolutely.
But this human connections that we have comes in with emotions. And that emotion tells us something beyond the conversation.
So true. So true. I love that. So, Jodi, I think I want you back for another conversation, because this feels like cut short. There's still so much I'd love to speak about, the way that you approach your family, your love life, and every single thing. But right now, I love just the idea of being able to help people find a little bit more purpose in whatever they're doing currently, and be able to start listening to their feelings more, so that they get to lead a life that feels good to them, that feels right, no matter what people think. And so I really, really, really appreciate your time here. I appreciate your wisdom. I appreciate your energy and your attitude to everything. I've learned so much, and I'm so sure you can go home with a lot of wisdom, especially when you have been feeling a little bit lost, or feeling like as if you've achieved so much, or you want to achieve more, but it feels like never enough. The answer is right here, listening to yourself.
Thank you.
I really appreciate your time here. Thank you.
Thank you for having me. Really appreciate this opportunity.
Cool. That's it for now, you guys. See you in the next episode. Bye.